Okay, so if neither of those methods worked for you, if it's so similar to the background, if your product just really blends in with the background and you're having too much trouble with those two methods, that is okay. There is another way we can do this. I'm going to zoom in quite a lot, probably more than 100%, just whatever you feel comfortable with once you figure out what you're doing. I'm going to go to the selection tool again, and I'm going to hit the selection brush. What I'm going to be doing here is manually selecting this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure it's still on add, which is very important. You get to adjust the size here, and I'm just going to go around the edges of my product. And I am going to just get all the edges in and make sure you're getting all of your product. This one is obviously the most time-consuming one because you want to make sure it's exactly the way you need it, and you have to do it all by hand, which is okay. If you need to zoom in more, just make sure you're comfortable with what you're doing and that you're getting the best selection of your product. So what I want you to do is I want you to go around your entire product. There we go. Okay, so I skip forward a little. After you have all of the edges of your product in the selection, I want you to zoom out, and then just so you can see about your entire product. And I want you just to fill in that empty space here. See how I have, oops, I missed a little bit. See how I have a nice line and layer of my edges in the selection? There we go. What I want you to do now is just increase the size and fill in the rest. Just make sure all of your product is within the selection. Shouldn't take too long. Again, if you had luck with the other methods, that's good. This is the most difficult method, I think. Well, not the most difficult, maybe just the most time-consuming method that there is. And if you find that yours seems a little kind of bumpy on the edges, just like it might have been with the eraser tool, you can again go to selection and refine the edges. That would be fine. But once I finish filling this in, let's see if I can make it a little bigger. There we go. Okay, so it's important to just make sure that you have all of it selected. You want to just make sure that you have all of your product in the selection. Okay, so like I said, if you might want to refine the edges here, and that is okay. All you need to do is, again, you go to select and you go to refine edge. And again, you might want to work with the different ones, and you might want to zoom in, and you might want to just make sure, just move around the smooth and the feather. I think it's important that you don't use too much of the feather because that's just really going to take away from your product. So I'm doing 29 and 2.1, but like I said, it's really going to vary on you and your product. So I'm hitting OK, and the next thing I'm doing, okay, that was the last method.